Yeah, please sit down. Are you okay? Comfortable?
Really comfortable, sir. Thank you.
Where from you are coming?
I'm from Sulu, sir. I'm staying in Sulu now.
Okay. What is famous for Sulu?
So Sulu is known for its Air Force station, sir.
Okay.
So it is the second largest Air Force station in our country, sir.
Okay. Which is first one?
So it's called the Hindon Air Force Station. So it's in Uttar Pradesh, near Ghaziabad.
Okay. Hindon.
Hindon, yes.
Hindon. Okay. Good. Shivaraman, you have. I am seeing your hobbies. It's unique. You are saying that you will. Whatever your hobbies, how do you spend your time?
Sir, apart from the hobbies which I have written here, sir, I'm interested in watching movies, sir. Okay. Apart from that, I am also interested in weight training, sir.
Weight training?
That in gymming and stuff, sir.
Okay. Why one should have a hobby?
Sir, hobby helps in rejuvenation, sir. Once someone is burnt out after a hard day's work, hobby helps us to replenish our mental equilibrium, sir.
Okay, so that you gain your mental equilibrium.
Yes, it helps us.
One should have hobbies or should not have?
It's up to the individual, sir, but hobbies do help, sir, in our well-being.
Okay, hobby do help. You said reading on the nature of consciousness.
Yes.
What do you mean by consciousness?
Sir, consciousness in general terms is just the awareness of our surroundings. Whatever we are aware of is consciousness. But I'm specifically interested in what is known as the hard problem of consciousness. So it's a problem which neuroscience hasn't been able to solve in all these years, sir.
Okay. How could you develop this? How can you spend time on this? How it will rejuvenate your equilibrium, or how do you get an energy or enthusiasm by doing it? I feel I will be strained more.
No, sir. Actually, what I feel is that it is such a niche topic. Like even many philosophers are involved in it. Neuroscience has been struggling with this question, sir. So it's about human curiosity, right, sir? I'm curious about this topic, sir. So when I read about it, it satisfies my curiosity, sir, and it helps me to have something for my thoughts, sir, in my free time.
Okay. How do we draw boundaries on this? It's no open-ended, no? How do you draw to have a satisfaction? There will be a completion. There is a line, finish line would have been reached. How are you drawing this line to come to a satisfaction?
Sir, in case of hobbies or in this particular case, sir, I really feel that the path is the goal, sir.
Path is the goal. Okay.
The very act of our contemplation is satisfying, sir.
Okay.
We do not have to draw a boundary or look for a goal, sir.
There is no quantum goals.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Quantumly it cannot be determined.
Yes, sir. It is continuous, sir. It's not discrete.
The path or journey which you undertake is a joyful.
Path is the goal. Yes, sir.
Got it. And you are also metallurgical and material engineering.
Yes.
At IIT. Are you working in any of the places?
I worked for 1 year, sir, in a company called Jindal Stainless Limited. Sir.
Okay. It's
in Gurgaon and it's the largest stainless steel manufacturer in our country. Sir.
Okay. Why did you leave the job?
Sir, I was always passionate about being a civil servant, sir. I joined the job just for the sake of exposure, sir. It's for knowing about the corporate sphere, sir.
Okay.
So I just wanted to have a peek into it, and once I got a sufficient idea, I decided to leave the job and prepare for the examinations.
Okay, good. Good you have decided to come for civil services. Where do you see yourself after 20 years?
Sir, I see myself as a successful civil servant, sir, where people are happy with my work, and I've been able to bring some meaningful changes in the lives of ordinary people. Sir.
Okay. You were able to make some meaningful changes in the lives of. Can you identify 3 major problems today's persons or people of India is facing? You will focus. The country needs to focus today to take up these 3 challenges. Can you name the 3?
So the challenge which is closest to me is the malnutrition in children, sir.
Okay, malnutrition.
Children,
okay.
Because India has like the stunting rate of our children is close to 35%, sir, which is very high compared to global standards.
Okay. Then malnutrition, one issue we will tackle it.
Apart from that, I'm interested in skill development and
skill development is
for the
human resource development.
Of,
okay, good. Then
apart from that, I'm really passionate about gender equality, sir.
Okay, gender equality. Okay. Good. How these three goals can be achieved? You can tell 3 steps in each.
Yes, sir. So for child undernutrition or malnutrition, sir, there has to be rationalization of food distribution, sir.
Okay, food has to be distributed.
Yes, sir. But the distribution has to be in such a way that it has to be balanced, sir. At present, the amount of proteins delivered to children is less, sir.
Okay.
So we have to take care of that. And complementing that, the second step would be to ensure the health of children, sir. Because if they are not properly immunized, the absorption or utilization of nutrition won't be high, sir.
Okay.
So the first would be
protein,
providing sufficient nutrition. Second is immunization.
Okay.
And third would be about health education of their parents, sir.
Okay.
So their mothers, it's observed that the children are undernourished mainly when their parents are not properly educated, sir.
Okay.
So it may be breastfeeding practices
Okay.
or providing them with a balanced diet.
Okay.
So these are the 3 main issues. With
come to the skill development.
Skill development, we have to increase the foundational literacy, sir. Right from the primary education, we have to inculcate critical thinking, sir. The next step would be to develop vocational education, sir.
Okay, vocational education.
With respect,
which streams has focus?
Yes, sir. So we have to focus on labor-intensive industries, sir, so that everyone is able to indulge themselves in manufacturing sectors. Sir.
Okay, labor-intensive. Okay,
yes,
fine.
so there has to be collaboration with industries. And the third thing here would be freedom to pursue various choices. Sir. At present, it's concentrated towards one stream, maybe engineering.
Diversification of
skills.
skills.
Of trade, yes.
Okay, good. Come to the gender equality. How do we tackle that?
So to tackle gender equality, we have to look at 4 different verticals. Sir. We could look at the political sphere, the economic sphere, the education, and the nutrition, sir. Health or nutrition.
Okay. So I just wanted to know more about only about political sphere.
So, at present, what is really commendable about India is the participation of women in the local bodies. Sir. So that has to be further strengthened, and the indulgence of women in local bodies should be strengthened, sir, without the support of their husbands, or at present most of them are controlled by their spouses.
Yeah.
So that has to be avoided. Apart from that, there could be a consideration of reservations in parliament or state assemblies, sir, for women. Close to 30 or 33%.
33% will improve their
yes, sir, participations in bodies. Apart from that, if we strengthen other verticals, like if we strengthen the education or the mobility, sir, they'd be able to freely participate in the political or democratic processes.
Okay, good. Can you name 3 of the women leaders in entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship. I'm really inspired by Mrs. Indra Nooyi, sir, the chairman of PepsiCo.
Good.
Apart from that, famous woman entrepreneur, the CEO of Google, sir. Not CEO, but I'm not able to recall her names. Okay. But I'm not able to recall many women entrepreneurs. This is the state of probably. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Some social workers.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I just want to continue from.
Sure.
So, do you think women deserve 33% reservation in UPSC also? Exams.
Sir, I've not formed my opinion completely on this, but first we have to analyze the current participation of women, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure it's about 33% at this moment, sir.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how much this reservation is going to help, sir.
But women need reservation in parliament and state assemblies, as you said.
Yes, sir. It's because of the current status, sir. Less than 10 to 15% of women are participating in our parliaments.
Okay. So, do you think there is a correlation between the policies and the implementations?
With respect to, sir, like
the exams. See, for example, women are not there in the assembly, state legislatures, but the women are performing well in UPSC. So, what is the correlations between this?
What in this particular aspects of what I feel that UPSC is highly dependent on the individual.
Okay.
If a woman is able to work hard, she'll surely get through, and that's the reason for success of women in UPSC, sir.
So,
But when it comes to political processes, social issues are predominant, sir.
okay.
If a woman stands in the election, it's very difficult for her to mobilize enough votes to get through, sir. So the pertinent issue of patriarchy in society inhibits the participation or success of women in political processes.
So only in political participation. But in other participations, women are.
Yes, sir, because it depends on the individual agencies.
Okay. So you studied from IIT Roorkee.
Yes.
So why IITs are stand apart from other institutes in India?
I cannot say for sure that it's very different from other institutes, sir, but there is a slight improvement in quality, and that's because the entrance process, sir.
Okay.
The intake of students is from a very difficult examination called joint entrance examinations. So that's the main factor. Apart from that, the funds which IITs receive from the government is high compared to other private colleges.
So we need to allocate more funds to the other institutions to make it a par equal status. Do you think?
That may be possible, sir.
Okay.
If we are able to provide enough funds so that they are improving the research infrastructure and employability, then they could be at par with IITs or MITs.
Okay. So how do you rate the Indian economic situation?
At present, sir, there are a few issues with our economy, such as high inflation and issue of unemployment and discussed unemployment, sir. But I also believe that there is a huge scope for India to emerge as world leaders in this very century, sir.
What is the reason behind the high inflation? What is the inflation rate as of now?
Sir, recent estimation by CMI is that it's close to 7.15, sir. It's more, earlier it was estimated as 6.95.
Okay.
Now it has breached the 7% marks.
Ask for reason also.
Reasons. First, the predominant reason as of now is the war in Ukraine, sir. So this has pressurized the crude oil supply, and India is one of the largest importers of crude oil, sir. This has led to inflation. Apart from that, the curbing of the increase in federal rates in US, sir. So this has reduced the supply of foreign currency in our country, due to which there has been weakening of Indian currency. And moreover, there has been excessive liquidity in our markets, sir. Due to the COVID scenario, RBI was able to reduce the repo rate, which led to increase in liquidity in society. And due to high liquidity, there was high inflation. So these are the three major issues that I've been able to recover.
Okay. How do you rate the India's taxation policy? Do you think India is progressive?
Yes, sir. When it comes to direct taxes, in GST, India has been using progressive taxation, sir. But with respect to indirect taxes, everyone is paying the same tax, sir. The MRP, which is related to MRP.
Okay.
So that's the reason why there has been less taxes for necessary goods, sir, so that everyone is able to afford.
Okay. What is the contribution of direct tax and indirect tax to the Indian economy?
Direct taxes are slightly above indirect taxes. It's close to 55% and 45% when it comes to centers, union budget.
Okay. So which should be more?
Sir, indirect taxes should be more. So that's the stand of the government.
So that's the stand of the government.
That indirect tax.
I'm asking which is good as per your view.
Sir, both are important, sir, but indirect taxes show the growth in production in our countries.
Okay.
So, higher indirect taxes would mean higher participation in formal sectors of people and high turnovers of industries.
So, for example, I'm earning 1,000 rupees. Okay, you are earning 10,000 rupees. Okay. So, as far as indirect tax is concerned, everyone paying equal tax. So, I need to pay 100 rupees for buying an object. Okay, let's say a car. 100 rupees pay I have to pay. Tax I have to pay. The same person who is earning 10,000 rupees, I have to pay the same 100 rupees. But I have to spend the 10% of my income as a tax. But you have to pay just 1%. So how will you justify indirect tax is more important than the direct tax?
Sir, my stand was that direct taxes are more important than indirect taxes.
Okay, sorry, it's my mistake.
Sure, no.
So let's talk about the hard problem of consciousness.
Sure.
What can you tell me about the Copenhagen Interpretation?
So Copenhagen Interpretation evolved in the 1930s, sir. What they say is the object we see is not the real form of object, sir. It is present as multiple potentials. When these various potentials interact with our consciousness, there is a collapse of wave function and it appears as objects, sir. That's called the Copenhagen Interpretation.
What is the other one? There are two major ones, the big C and the small c.
I'm not sure, sir. Maybe I may know the definitions. I'm not sure, sir.
It's the difference between Einstein and Niels Bohr.
Yes, sir. Niels Bohr was about Copenhagen Interpretation.
Yes. What about Einstein?
I'm not sure of this.
Have you heard of the term emergent property?
Yes, sir.
Of consciousness?
Yes.
What is it?
So, emergent property is related to materialistic thoughts, sir. What they say is that consciousness is the result of material. So that is, it has emerged from brains. So the specific arrangement of neurons has somehow given rise to consciousness, sir. With subsequent progress in neuroscience, we'll be able to find the correlations.
Very good. Is there something in Indian philosophy which says something along these lines?
Yes, sir. So current philosophy in the West can be compared to medieval Indian philosophy, sir. For example, there is a concept called cosmopsychism. That consciousness is the only thing, and every object is a reflection of that consciousness. It's related to Advaita philosophy, sir.
And the small c school is more comparable to which school of Indian thought?
Small c in the sense the
Emergent
property. So it's materialistic school of thought, right? So it can be related to Charvaka, sir. There is no.
The Charvakas believe in consciousness.
They don't, sir, but they believe that there's nothing else apart from materials.
But here there is a consciousness which comes from matter. Right?
Yes, sir. So it can be related to Buddhist school of thoughts.
Very good. What is it? So can artificial intelligence, can it become conscious?
Sir, I haven't been clear about it, sir, because if I say an AI robot is conscious or not, I won't be able to say the difference, sir. Even if it's conscious or unconscious, externally appear to be the same, right? So there's no way to say for sure, sir.
So it comes from direct experience.
Yes, sir. It's individual first-person subjective experience.
What is this frame problem in AI that they talk about in relation to consciousness?
Sorry, sir. I'm not aware of it.
Please look it up.
I'll look at it.
So since you read about consciousness, recently it was the 150th anniversary of a certain yogi who's known for his contributions to writings on consciousness and so on. Can you recall who he was? He's a freedom fighter as well.
Was it Sree Aurobindo's?
Yes. Do you know what was his major contribution in terms of consciousness? His book.
Yes, sir. It's called The Life Divine, sir.
Great.
I guess it was close to Advaita, sir.
It's very close. There are contradictions there. Now, what is the equivalent of the Nobel Prize in mathematics?
So it's called the Field Medal, sir.
The Field Medal.
Yes.
Has any Indian won it?
I'm sure Srinivasa Ramanujan has won it, sir. And apart from that, there's a mathematician called Monchul Bhargava. He is from Indian origin, sir, but he is American and Canadian, sir.
Okay, great. So when it comes to Srinivasa Ramanujan, he says mathematics comes from Devi,
Yes.
the goddess. Right? So isn't that somewhat superstitious? What do you think?
So that's his subjective experience, sir. But many other mathematicians have tried to provide the interpretations. What they feel is that it basically comes from his notebooks, sir. He has just written proofs and he has just written theories and no proofs. What some conjectures say is that due to the expensive nature of paper, he would have used slates to derive the proofs and just written the theories in his pages.
Do you believe that?
Because it's difficult for me to understand how Devi comes in his dreams and gives him such complex formulas.
Okay. So, your optional is anthropology. This is my last question.
Sure, sir.
Is Marxist anthropology valid today?
I believe that it's not valid, sir, because he took a very narrow approach, sir. He says,
what sense?
In that economy or the bourgeoisie proletariat divide defines every aspect of cultures. So I don't agree with it.
Have you read Thomas Piketty's Capital?
No, sir.
You would seem to agree with Marx.
I'll look into it.
Thank you. Please.
Okay, Shivaraman, you're from Coimbatore. Can you tell me something about Coimbatore?
Historically, ma'am, Coimbatore has been majorly ruled by the Cheras. But if I have to take a contemporary view of it, the first thing which comes to mind is the economy of Coimbatore. It's very diverse. So there's agriculture, plantations. It has a booming MSME sector as well as the IT industry. So I feel that the diverse nature of Coimbatore's economy is a special aspect of it.
Okay, why is Coimbatore regarded as the Manchester of South India?
It is because of the many MSMEs with respect to textile industry.
Okay, so can you tell 3 major problems that Coimbatore is facing right now?
The most contemporary issue which I could think of is the high rate of dropouts after COVID in Coimbatore. Apart from that, one niche issue with Coimbatore is the wildlife conflict, man-animal conflicts with respect to elephants. Apart from that, in some region there has been a rising case of malaria due to pile-up of garbages in Coimbatore city.
Okay, there is no problem with regard to economy like the textile industry or agriculture or anything?
Yes ma'am, thanks for pointing that out. In this present scenario ma'am, with respect to the difficulty in power supply and the shortage of coal, Coimbatore would be severely hit because of the high dependence of MSME sectors on electricity. So this could be one of the issues.
So you're a metallurgical engineer. Can you tell about the status of mining in India? What is its contribution to Indian GDP?
I'm not exactly sure of the number ma'am, but the ballpark figure is close to 2 to 3% of GDP.
Okay, so you're around it. So do you think it is good enough? Is India reaching its fullest potential? Why is India still importing a lot of important metals from abroad?
The stand of India is about balancing economic development and social justice. So what we observe is that majority of the resources are concentrated in the tribal regions of the east. Moreover, it is highly forested region. So if we try to improve or extensively improve our mining, it would lead to severe damage to our ecology as well as the tribal social justice. So we have to balance both aspects.
Okay, so leaving the tribal aspect apart, what about our policies? What about the policies? Is it good enough to promote more technologies or capable players? Recently only we allowed captive mining. So what is your view on that?
So the MMDR amendment recently, ma'am. So it allowed for companies to independently mine it, ma'am. Earlier it was reserved only for captive mining. So now it's easier for the government to bring in more private players, ma'am, with cutting-edge technology for improving the efficiency in mining. Moreover, the allocation of mining, ma'am, has been given through transparent auction. So that would improve the revenue generation as well as efficiency in mining in our country.
So is there anything that is new in the recent mining policy of India about social justice, sustainable development?
So they have introduced this Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana, in which they have introduced a body called District Mineral Foundation. So the policy states that almost 10 to 30% of royalty which the private sector pays to the government should go to District Mineral Foundation, ma'am, and 60% of that money would help in ameliorating the issues faced by the people with respect to pollution of water or air, and remaining 40% would help in infrastructure development in that region.
So what is the status of these foundations? Are they functioning in commendable way?
The bodies are pretty new, ma'am, but I guess it's a progressive step, ma'am, and things could yield positive results, ma'am, if they're focused.
So can you tell me some 3 personality traits of yours?
The positive traits. So
Any traits?
I would like to focus on my positive traits, ma'am. I see myself as a multifaceted person, ma'am. So I've been all-rounder for a long time. I'm interested in both sports and academics. Apart from that, I get along easily with people. So I'm able to work in groups. Apart from that, I'm diligent about the work I do. I take care that the I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Shivaraman.
Sure, sir. Should I wait also?
Yeah, you can come. Still, you can improve upon seeing others. That is one part.
Okay, so while engaging in a discussion, I should Sree.
Yeah, one look. Otherwise, people will not look. They will look down and doing it. Just have a casual.
I was using phone when you were answering to madam's question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So unless you engage me, I'll do something.
Okay, sure. I'll look at it.
Then 1 or 2 times you started some kind of clarification you wanted to do. Instead of asking cross questions, you can start with that. For example, one question for him and one time me also, one time to madam also. You said is positive trait or negative trait, I could recall.
Okay, so
Instead of asking it, my positive traits you can start with.
okay, sure, sir. Without asking for clarification.
It's okay, fine to get a clarification, but why?
Sure.
When we can go a positive note, why we should say? Get it clarified.
Sure.
If they tell about what is your weakness, then you can start.
Sure.
That is one observation, sir. Then otherwise, fine. Inflation, data, everything was good. I could not find any mistakes or points. You can go ahead with that.
Sure.
And flow also smooth.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
And modulation also fine. Good.
So everything is good. So you have a decent interview. Main positive thing is your content is good, communication as well as your confidence. Okay, small minor issues are there. Like when you enter, you have to greet everyone. You initially greeted sir and then me, then yes sir.
Sure, sir.
Okay, so greet everyone. And the second thing is you are initially nervous.
Okay, fine.
You are holding your hands very tightly. Okay, that was very visible. Okay, and the third thing, to my part, actually you favored indirect taxes.
Yeah.
Initially.
That I was fine.
Then you
Check
confidently overturned your decision and
That is also, you should not say.
Lapse.
Yeah.
Okay.
You check your videos.
You had
You only
direct
discussed
your
indirect taxes.
Said
You are
indirect.
favoring.
Initially, then you said my stand is direct.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
That I also pointed out. How you are going to justify indirect taxes? Then he asked directly. You said I am meant to say direct taxes.
I missed it. So I'll look into it.
So focus on that. And then fields model able space. You just have a look on it. Okay.
Okay, so able place.
It's able price.
It's able space. Okay.
Okay. So that was. See, for me, on advantages, you're from IIT, right? The advantages you're going to have knowledge. You're going to trust that. Your key over there. See, the only reason I've seen IITians being rejected is if they feel in that interview that IITian comes across a little pretentious. Because bureaucracy means can he be disciplined?
Sure.
Okay, it's not coming across too much. But in some areas, your language is a bit informed.
Yeah,
Okay.
you are used to 2-3 times.
So that one, I've written a few things, and apart from you repeated maybe 7 to 8 times. Apart from, that's not anything to do with pretension. But try not to repeat the same thing.
Sure.
Instead of apart from, you can just say the point.
Sure.
Right? That's one thing. See, I looked at you very deeply because with the IITians, a little more language and all that is expected. Right? So another space. You said gymming and stuff.
Okay.
Stuff.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
Okay, now that's key. And sometimes when you refer to the government, you can say either our government or the government. You're saying they have, they did.
Okay.
That's a trick again. Okay. Now I really enjoyed the conversation about consciousness, and you seem to know that area really well. And I hope somebody picks that up for you,
Sure.
and it will really skyrocket your marks.
I didn't expect this niche level of interviewing. So
Because I'm interested.
Sure.
This is a very niche topic. So those were some of the things, and Marxist anthropology. Yeah. Another thing is, see, you know the current composition of the UPSC board. Srinivasa Ramanujan is getting it from Navy. You say it's his experience. It's fine, right? It's better not to say. Let's say that it's very difficult for me to believe that sort of thing. He got it that way. It's fine. You know the political reality, right?
yes.
Okay. That's why I'm telling you this. Okay?
Sure.
So, it's a very possible question, by the way. Right? And be a bit careful over that.
Sure.
Okay? And, right, so this is the problem. Otherwise, I think knowledge-wise everything is clean. Just be very careful with the language, because I'm getting this dude vibe here. sometimes when you say this.
I'll try to contain my language.
For an IIT, you have to be more careful.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Otherwise, I really hope they pick up this question for you because it's a niche topic. It's very interesting, and you really know what you're talking about. So great.
And smile a bit.
Smile a bit. You can smile a bit more.
Sure, sir.
In fact, when you're talking about the problem of consciousness, you're smiling a lot because maybe you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Try to enjoy the other questions as well.
Sure, sir.
About the knowledge part, your delivery, everything was good, your communication skills were good, and even your hand gestures, last time I pointed out that you were a bit tense, that also you managed it well. The only thing that I found with my question was that when I asked you about the problems of Coimbatore, you got into some very small topics. You can rather try to divide your topics into social, economical and environmental.
I'll take that approach.
So only that, and you can work on the other feedback.
Sure. I'll do that.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, all the best.
From last time to this time, lot of improvement.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
When is your interview?
It's on 18th of May, sir. 10 days. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so much. Your Honor. Thank you, sir. Sir, can I get a photo? I'll just take a photo of that sheet.
My questions?
Yes, not the questions, sir. The suggestions that you.
Oh, the